Hi there guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been about a week or so since my last video, and I thought I'd do this one to join in with everyone else in the vinyl community that's doing a video around their 10 most listened to records. I've had to think about this really because I do listen to certain records quite a lot. But it does change sort of monthly. I mean, if you asked me this question in about sort of 1 or 2 months' time, the list will change as I get new records in my collection. I sort of binge them for a while, and there's a few here that are staples of mine that I do come back to again and again, but there's some new ones that I've sort of binge listened to for the last month or so. They will change as I get new records in my collection. So this is as the list is now, and maybe I'll do an updated one in sort of 6 months' time and we'll see where it's changed. So in no particular order, like they say on the TV in competitions and stuff, in no particular order, we'll start with the Turn of a Friendly Card, Alan Parsons Projects. Now this is a record that I come back to regularly. It's one of those records by Alan Parsons that I don't know why, I just really like it. It's the production, it's the material, the songwriting. I really like this. This is an original half-speed master, first pressing. This was pressed at Teldec in Germany. I did do a shootout video. I'll link that below in the description below. I did a shootout video of this between this one, an original first pressing, not half speed, and also the Speaker's Corner, and it's quite a surprising result, I feel. But I'll leave that for you to go and see. But yeah, Turn of a Friendly Card, Alan Parsons Project. I don't think it gets as much love as iRobot and Eye in the Sky, but I really like this record and go back to it quite regularly. Next one is also a staple of mine. I play this 2 or 3 times a month without fail, whether it's in the car, we'll talk about that later, the car, and that's The Cure, Faith. I bought this, not this particular copy, but I originally bought this the day it come out, or the week it come out. And to me, this is the Cure's best album. That's my opinion. I really like this. I like Pornography as well. 17 Seconds is good, although they were still sort of finding their sound at that point. Then they come out with this, and then they followed this with Pornography. Pornography was a natural progression from this, I think. But this, I just love this album. Like I say, bought it when it first came out, and I still regularly go back to this. I love the bass on this album. All the bass playing by Simon Gallup is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, The Cure, Faith, absolutely love it. Next one is not, you know, it's an obvious one. If anyone's been watching my channel, you'll know that I absolutely am all over Scott Walker, and Scott 4 for me was his peak of the sort of Decca era, let's say. When he was with Decca, this was his peak. There's certain standout tracks on the first album and Scott 2 and Scott 3, but I think with Scott 4, the string arrangements were excellent, the production was great, the songwriting, his songwriting had just gone to another level, and I just think this is a classic, classy album. This is the Abbey Road Half-Speed Master. It's okay, it's not too bad. I'd love to do a shootout between this and a first pressing, but first pressings of this hold their price. I think a near mint copy of this first pressing is over £100. You know, they hold their price. This and Scott 3, over £100 in near mint condition. I will want the record in near mint condition and the jacket in at least VG Plus condition. I'm a bit fussy when it comes to buying used records. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that. I'm quite fussy with that. But yeah, Scott 4, absolutely brilliant. The Seventh Seal is my favourite track on this album. I love it. The whole album's great, absolutely brilliant. And in fact, after I finish this video, I think I'm going to listen to it again. Next one is a fairly recent purchase for me. I got this on Record Store Day this year, and that is Chet by Chet Baker. This is the Riverside reissue. This was I think this is all mono. This is all analog, cut from the original analog master tapes. This is a tip-on jacket. This is an absolutely brilliant chill out jazz album, instrumental jazz album. This is another one like some Miles Davis that I listen to as well, but this I think is a great album. I binged it when I bought it, and I still play it sort of every week or couple of weeks. I'll put this on, have a listen to it. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Highly recommended it. If you like instrumental cool jazz, this is the record for you. Chet, and it's a classic. It's absolutely brilliant, and this particular pressing is worth getting if you can get hold of it. This was like I say, a Record Store Day release. You can probably still buy it on Discogs. I don't know how much it will be. I think I paid about 35 quid for this, £39, something like that, but not cheap. But you're paying for the packaging. The quality of the vinyl is brilliant. It's dead quiet, dead flat, absolutely no issues with this. Brilliant. Then we come on to another recent purchase of mine. This was the first record by this artist that I ever bought. It was done on a punt, purely on a punt. I'd never really heard her before. I'd listened to sound bites of her on Spotify, liked what I heard, and then took the plunge and bought Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey. I can honestly say I've listened to all four sides of this album, I would like to say, since I've bought it, over 100 times. I've had this on in the car, I've had it on at home. I can't get enough of this album. To me, and I've got a load of her other stuff as well, but to me, this is her peak. There is so many, I've said this in one of my previous videos, there are so many influences on this record. And it shows that she's taken ideas and influences from really different areas and genres. There's a track on here, I forget what it's called now, but it sounds like The Cure. It starts off like a Cure song. It's on the Faith album. It's just that really slow drums, very deep keyboards. But this is brilliant. I love this album, and this was my introduction to Lana Del Rey, and quite frankly I haven't looked back. I've been slowly buying her past catalogue of material. Again, her vinyl originals are going for over £60, £70. The Record Store Day releases are going for over £200. It's just mental. They've just reissued the coloured vinyl special edition of this. Now, the coloured vinyl special edition of this is selling on Discogs for over £100, £150. They're just reissuing it in a limited run via her website. I've ordered it, so I'm getting the special limited edition with a different cover, and that's coming in September. But yeah, so yeah, Lana Del Rey Ultraviolence. This is absolutely brilliant, and I love Lana Del Rey. Another one that I recently have been binging this constantly, and if you don't know or ever heard them, you owe it to yourself to listen to this record. If all you've heard is Story of the Blues, you know, you're wasting time. You need to go back and listen to Wah's first album, which is Wah, Na Equals Pooh, The Art of Bluff. Heads up, this is getting a reissue this year. It's being repressed, it's been remastered, and it's going to be reissued. So watch this space. I'll give you more information about that when it happens and when I get it. But yeah, this album is brilliant. This is when Pete Wiley was working with a bass player called Carl Washington. They were a bit of a duo. Wah was Pete Wiley's project, but Carl Washington was very much an integral part of early Wah, right up to and including Story of the Blues. Actually, there's footage of them playing Story of the Blues on Top of the Pops in the UK. Carl Washington's there with bass, but for some reason, last time I spoke to Pete Wiley, and I do speak to him online, Carl just disappeared and hasn't been seen since. He's still alive, but he's not really involved in the music business from what we can see. But yeah, again, brilliant album. 7,000 Names of Wah is a brilliant instrumental, opens up side 2 of this album. You've got, what's the, 7 Minutes to Midnight, I think that was a single off of this. Didn't do much, it done okay on the independent chart, but The Death of Wah, one of my favourite tracks on this, is absolutely brilliant. The whole album is great. It's on the Eternal label, and yeah, this is worth checking out. Wah, Na Equals Pooh, The Art of Bluff. Right, the next one. Now, this is an old staple of mine. I keep going back to it. I love the Beatles, always have done. My favourite Beatles album is Pepper, but I find myself listening to Revolver more than Pepper. I really like Revolver. I'm looking at getting various different pressings of this. I want to try and get hold of a first pressing, the withdrawn one. They're not cheap. They go for about £400. I'm going to see if I can sort of get the money to one side and save up over a few months and get myself one of them, because I've heard the version of Tomorrow Never Knows off that is pretty killer. But yeah, Revolver, brilliant album. This is the mono repress from 2014. I don't have the mono box. I bought these all separately when you could still buy them separately. You don't get much change from £100 now if you want to buy one of these 2014 mono pressings. I've got all the mono pressings from 2014 and they're all pretty up there, sort of £90, £80, £100. I think Pepper's about £150 now. This is certainly north of £100 now. Revolver, it's one of their popular albums. I want to get the Revolver box set because the mono pressing in that is a more hotter mastering than this, so I'm really eager to hear that. Again, that's an all analog, but like I say, Sean McGee, I don't know why they're different, why they didn't use the original plates from this. They actually remastered it for the box set, but they remastered it hotter, so I'm going to listen to that. But yeah, Revolver, on my top 10 records I listen to the most. Now, this is another recent purchase of mine. I already owned this album anyway, but when I bought this particular pressing of it, it rekindled my interest in this, The Doors' LA Woman, and this is the 100th anniversary HMV special edition of it. This comes in a original jacket, or style jacket, with the rounded corners and the see-through plastic window on the front. This is on yellow vinyl. You get the OB down the side, which is nice. This was a special release. It's been limited. I'm not sure how much it's limited, probably a couple of thousand maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this actually sounds really, really good. This is using, I would like to say, this is using the Bernie Grundman mastering. from the previous pressing back in, or you'll have to watch my other video, the unboxing on this, but I'm sure it's the Bernie Grumman. But yeah, it's digital, but you know, it sounds really, really good. Is it as good as the analog productions, all analog 45 RPM? No, it's not. But for a 33 RPM, it sounds really, really good and worth checking out. If you can't get this yellow vinyl special edition, go and get the previous one. It's the same Bernie Grumman master, but it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper for you. All right, so yeah, The Doors, LA Woman. Love this album. The Changeling's one of my favourite tracks on this, along with LA Woman, obviously. Love her madly, but yeah, I really like The Changeling on this. I really like it. Great album, one of their best, and it's also well recorded as well, unlike the self-titled album and Strange Days. They weren't really that well recorded, especially the first album, but this is sonically their peak, I think. Yeah, The Doors, LA Woman. Oh, then we get to another new purchase of mine, and one that I've been binging. And like I say, this list could change in a few months' time when I stop binging these records. And that is Talk Talk, The Colour of Spring. Recently started getting back into Talk Talk. Never really listened to them before. Like the Mark Hollis solo album, but never really ventured any further than that. Obviously, I know Talk Talk's 80s singles output, Life's What You Make It, Talk Talk, you know, etc. But I never really bought their albums until now. And I bought Colour of Spring. Oh my God, it blew me away. This album is absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's really, really good. And if you like synth, pop, rock, but with an avant-garde twist, get this. Give it a go. Mark Hollis, to me, was a genius, and it shows on this. It's absolutely brilliant. His songwriting is top drawer, and Mark Hollis, very, very highly respected singer-songwriter with Talk Talk. Talk Talk, when you look at the who's playing on this album, Talk Talk were more of a collective. They were never a band in inverted commas as such. You had Lee Harris, the drummer, who was a constant. You had obviously Mark Hollis, and you had the bass player, his name escapes me. They were the three constants in Talk Talk. But everyone else, keyboards, guitars, etc., they changed. I mean, you've got Robbie McIntosh on this, from the Pretenders on guitar. You've got Steve Winwood on keyboards, and Hammond organ on this, on a couple of tracks. It's a who's who, it really is. And they did pull the stops out with the session players on this, and it shows. It's really, really worth checking out. And yeah, love the album. Then we come to number 10, and this is an album that it's a staple of mine. I had this back in the 80s. I've had it on CD, I've had it on cassette, I've now got it on vinyl again. And it comes up quite often in my favourite record videos, and that is Modern English, Mesh and Lace. This is probably the one that's at the top of my list. I keep coming back to this. I'll leave it alone for a few months, and then I'll come back to it and I'll binge it again for about another 4 weeks, and then I'll leave it alone for a month or so, then I'll binge it again. I love this album, and I love the band. They're local lads to me. I'm from Essex. I live in Sudbury, Suffolk. Modern English are from Colchester, which, for those that don't know, is about 20 minutes drive from Sudbury. It's in Essex. They're local to me. They're a local band. I saw Modern English about 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago, in Colchester, at the Arts Centre there, which is a converted church, and the gig was absolutely phenomenal. They played a bunch of stuff off of this. This is, the best way to describe this album is they're like Joy Division on steroids. It's dark, it's moody, but it's got a lot of oomph to it. it's a bit like Bauhaus crossed with Joy Division, with a little sprinkling of Hawkwind in there as well. There's some noises going on by the keyboards. It sounds like an oscillator, the sort of oscillator that Hawkwind would have used back in the 70s, but they're getting it off of a keyboard, and it just sounds on stuff like Moving Light, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. This is a remaster. This was mastered by Kevin Gray at Coherent and pressed at QRP. This is on dark green vinyl. You can just about see that. I don't know if you can see that. This is a really good repress and remaster. Like I say, Kevin Gray, you can't go wrong with Kevin Gray. It's likely a digital remaster, but you know, if anyone can make digital sound good, it's probably Kevin Gray and MoFi. But Kevin Gray's pretty good at it as well, and it's a great album. If you've never heard it before, check it out. Go and stream it on Spotify if you don't want to take the plunge first. But yeah, this is not what they became. They turned into more of a soft sort of new wave pop band. I Melt With You was their big single off of the follow-up album to this. I forget what it was called now, the next album after this. But this is the one that got them going, and this is, to me, their best album. They changed direction dramatically after this, but with this they were bang into the sort of goth, Joy Division, new wave, post-punk sort of thing, and it's top drawer stuff. And that is the 10 albums that I play the most. I've had a pretty crap weekend. My car went wrong again. Turbo went. I was due to travel to Wales, and the turbo went. We think it's the turbo has gone again. I think I'm just going to end up scrapping the car. It's doing my head in. So that's sort of held me up a little bit on videos. I'm also on my other channel doing a couple of guitar builds. I'll link to them below as well, just to give it a plug. I've got a couple of videos going up for that soon as well. Bit of an update on both of those. And we'll take it from there anyway. And thanks for coming. Click like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.